I have a lot of things I want to do. And comedy, stand-up, I told my friend like 4 years ago that I would like to try it. But
4 years ago?
Yeah. Then I came to Boho. I watched you guys. I was like, I can do that.
Yeah, sure. Classic.
I can do that.
Comedy.
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 Commedia.
Comedy.
Ciao. Welcome to the comedy hall.
Ciao, 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 ciao.
Hello. Hey.
Hello.
Welcome. Hey.
Well, what are we going to do?
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Comedy Hole Podcast.
Welcome.
Now we have, of course, Jordan Thomas Gray.
At Jordan Thomas Gray.
My name's Ariel Bialski, and we have a special guest, a wonderful special guest, one of the
most talented and funniest
Oh my God.
female Muslim comedian performing in English in Poland.
Wow, you're right.
Yes, it is Rana.
Rana. Welcome, Rana, to our podcast.
Thank you for having me, first of all. This is really nice.
Okay.
You're
good.
welcome.
And also, before we start, I think Bea has some words for us that she sent in.
Hello, Ariel.
Well, okay, hello.
Hi.
Hello, Jordan.
Hello, Bea.
That's very nice. And to Rana?
Hello. Ciao.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
We are joined not by the real Bea. Bea is in Italy searching for her lost pizza. And we are joined by Robo Bea Bot. Is that correct, Robo Bea Bot?
I don't know if
she's loading.
Calibrating a
she's
little bit.
Calibrating. Robo Bea Bot, can you hear me?
Yes, true.
Okay.
That's not really.
She can hear me.
I mean, it doesn't really apply, Bea, but okay.
I love it.
But anyway, so Rana performs at our shows and is extremely funny, crowd favorite, I would say, just because, your style is maybe not one-liners, but it's very set-up punchline, very, very dark, and coming from a person like you who's like tall, pretty girl and is unassuming, and then she fucks with the crowd is very fun to see.
That's the whole point. It's just to fuck with the crowd.
Yeah. And I've said this before. I mean, maybe it's a little too early to say this in the podcast, but I've said that you'll make it before any of us. So
you said that also. Jordan said that for like 30 minutes, both of you were complimenting me on that. Yeah, so thank you.
Okay, good.
All right.
Do
you have anything to add, Robo Bea?
I'm the boobs.
Okay.
All
right.
You know, that's the thing, the phrases you need to live a good life, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't need any more.
Maybe something that's not playing into sexism, Bea?
Yeah, come on.
Can I do you a blowjob?
Oh, God.
All right, Bea, that's enough. That's
Christ.
just enough, Bea. Let's get rid of it.
All right, let's get to the interview.
Yeah. First of all, so Rana, there's secrecy going on around you. So
If there was a murder in the Warsaw comedy community, I think Rana would be the first person interviewed by the police.
right, but not by the people who know her.
But that's the thing.
Right, by the police, because she's made a lot of public death threats.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When the police come and interrogate me, they're like, she's so nice. No, she's so sweet. You all are wrong.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing.
And then they're like, what's your name? And you're like, Rana newspaper wall book.
That's
Very creative joke.
Look, he's trying to make a joke. It's
I'm making
about
a
looking
reference,
around.
I'm making
and
a
saying,
reference to The Usual Suspects. Yes. Which Rana knows that reference because she is 20...
I'm 22, but I watched The Usual Suspects.
You did?
Of course.
What'd you think?
I like of your joke. Oh, it was a joke. Sorry, I couldn't catch that.
To make silly jokes that make an entire room laughing, you are smart.
I'm smart.
You know, she's
Just a quick
Bea's got an
question. When I
opinion.
laughed,
You are not funny.
Oh, Robo Bea.
Okay.
when even the Robo realized that.
Realize it's not funny. In any case, actually, before, because we were talking about something that if an audience member is listening and they never saw you perform, to explain Rana's act, goes up on stage and is smiling and is very unassuming and then says the most offensive shit against different cultures, women, men, gay people, Jews, all that sort of thing.
Everything.
And truthfully, I mean, it's wonderful to see, especially because I have Jewish heritage, and you come up to me and you go, hey, I got this new joke. Do you want to hear it?
No, I'm like, Ariel, come.
Yeah, and then it's a Jewish joke, and it's very funny. And so I think that's like the kind of behind the scenes that people who would see you saying something super offensive, when it really in the background, it's just to make a laugh and get a rise out of people.
Also, if you saw my last performance, I watched the video, and the last joke I did, I'm like, do you guys want to hear a Jew joke? And everyone was like, yeah. And you were like, sure. And I just said the Holocaust, and everyone started laughing. And when I was watching it at home, I was like, how can you do that? It's so weird for me, and it's so interesting that you do this normally. No one will laugh, people will cry, but it's so great to see that you can break that, and you say the Holocaust, and everyone is laughing. Like tell that to someone, and they're like, "Oh, it's so bad," but actually,
do you mean like stage humor is very different than interpersonal, just conversational humor? Is that what you mean? No,
not really. No, I just mean how the Holocaust can be this funny. You can't imagine it a dark subject.
Yeah.
Just saying it and being this funny.
Right.
I think that's what I like about it. It's just like the worse the joke, but the funnier. It feels like a good.
Yeah. And I also think you create a certain amount of tension that is fun to break for the audience, I guess, because they're feeling it. They're like, oh fuck, it's so offensive from the first joke, and then you have an ability to at least to break it, or at least to create the tension. Sometimes you're not breaking it.
True.
Okay.
Thank you, Bea.
Thank you, Bea.
But my favorite thing is when, for example, if I'm doing 5 minutes, is after the 2 minutes, like after a few jokes, when I can see the crowd like waiting for the punchline, and I'm like, okay, they got used to my style, and now they're going with it.
Yeah.
You know? The first few jokes, everyone's like, what the... Is this okay? And then they come on board.
Can you give an example? What's your favorite joke?
My favorite joke I wrote?
Just so the audience has some sense of what we're talking about.
Sure.
In terms of the depths of darkness and depravity. And
Yeah,
and offensiveness. Sure. You're being put on the spot. So
Yeah.
Take a minute. In the meantime, Bea, do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
All right. Not much time you're giving us, but okay, fair enough.
It's a molesting joke, so I don't know if I should say it.
We'll cut it out.
No, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and we'll cut it out.
It's my mom gave me the best advice: treat men how they treat you. So the next time I saw my uncle, I fingered him.
That's great. That's a great joke.
So fucked up.
That's a great joke.
That's good.
It's and it's stuck in people's head.
Funny and true.
You would never know. Saying mysterious. A joke I can share with other people.
But I think that one you could share. That's a really good joke. And
I'm just because I will share this on Instagram, and my friends who like university, Saudi, everyone will just.
Don't worry,
this.
no one will listen to this podcast. You don't have to worry about that. So just say whatever you want to say.
No, well, that's if you are you. But actually, people care when I talk or when I speak.
And here's the problem. Like, we're recording this now, but if the trajectory of how you are on stage and the kind of like, what's it called? Oh, the prediction that I have or Jordan has about your career comes true, then in the future you'll be famous and they can find this podcast and fuck you.
Well, if that's going to be her act anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
exactly.
It doesn't matter.
So it's like kind of like, hey.
I thought about it like in 10 years when I look back at this moment, would I regret it or not?
Yeah.
I think I would, but it's okay.
I do remember, I think your first set, we were all there for, is a really great set.
No, you were not there for.
Your first set that I saw, we were all there for. It was a great first set that I saw of you.
Where was that? When was it?
Bar Bazaar. And I remember Beatrice was there, and she was a little intimidated because there was another female comedian in the mix.
With taller and bigger boobs.
Well, yeah. Like, Bea, do you remember what you said?
And that was Jordan.
Bea, do you remember what you said, Robo Bea?
I'm the boobs.
Yeah, she said that.
She said that.
Yeah, she said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what were you saying?
It was a very long setup just to play that sample.
Really? That was the reason?
I don't have anything more.
Jesus Christ.
No, but do you remember... Wait, the first time you saw me on stage, do you remember anything I said? It was 9 months ago or something like that. Do you remember any joke?
If I thought hard enough, I might. I remember it being good and very dark. And the mix you have of bubbly, fun, giggly, plus talking about death and murder and suicide. I think you did a joke about how people who attempt suicide are failures. Was that in that set, maybe?
Ooh, okay.
Maybe. Sounds like me. But the first time I performed, Ariel was there. And I remember him because he was the nicest one. I think everyone else just ignored me.
That's not true.
Sorry, are you like, what is up? So I'm lying.
Okay.
So.
It's
okay,
true.
I'm sorry, it just gets awkward.
Okay.
No, so I went on stage and I was wearing a blue skirt, and I heard Ellen's podcast, and she says the same, that she put extra makeup just so she can look pretty if she was not funny.
Yeah.
I think that mentality is really good. So I went on stage and I joked, and then someone heckled. I don't know if you remember.
Was that Bar Bazaar?
Yeah, and I was like, it's weird kissing your brother. And then someone from the crowd was like, how about your sister? Is kissing your sister okay? That was the first time I performed.
And did you have a comeback, or were you too
I was
nervous
like,
too?
Okay, I'm going to ignore that. And everyone just laughed at that. But yeah, the weird thing about the first time I performed, I did a joke about dating older men.
Mm-hmm.
And next up was Ricky. So Ricky went on stage and he was like, I'm getting, like, my belly is getting bigger and I'm getting older, but I heard Rana is dating older men. And everyone laughed. And then the host came back and he was like, okay, so thank you, Ricky, for making the new girl feel awkward and never come back again. And yeah, so that's my funny story.
Okay.
Thank you for laughing.
Yeah, Bea loved
you,
it.
Bea.
But
Very funny.
But no, I love that moment. It's hilarious.
to be honest, I don't remember now, like the first time you were there, but in general, about even like being nice to you. I think also when it's a new performer, people are just always nervous when they go up on stage and stuff. And like, if they do well, if they do poorly, it's like, I never like giving the thing where it's like, this is a club and you're not part of the club yet. It's like, if you went on and performed, then you are part of the club.
By the way, when I say not nice, I don't mean that they were mean. I mean that you introduced yourself to me and we had a chat and stuff.
Ah, okay.
You kind of ignored me. We actually met in Jasmine's house. I kind of remember everything.
I think I was trying to not. I think I saw a lot of dudes go up to you and be like, hey, what's up? And I think I mostly just didn't want to do that. And so I maybe avoided just the whole thing, which is probably not what you should do. What Ariel did, and just make it entirely non-like.
Yeah, just...
Yeah.
Because...
Non what?
I think another comedian had made a comment. I shouldn't say this. Another comedian had made like a very sexual comment about you, and like had implied that like, oh yeah, like you and her, right? And I think
on stage?
No. Just in an aside.
Oh my God.
And that put me in a state of like, well, not talking to her, because I don't, because I didn't want to.
Because you felt pressured.
Yeah, I just didn't like. I felt gross about it. And so, like, I was like, I'll meet her.
Excuse me? Should I get offended?
I was like, I'll meet you eventually if you come back, But, yeah.
Now, actually, on that note, though, that is a thing also with female comedians versus men. Not only that, we only have 3 or something female comedians.
And when I was performing, you had none. Like most
Bea,
of them.
probably, right? Or
No,
did
she
you do
was
it
not
before
there.
Bea?
I was before Bea.
Yeah, okay.
For a couple of months, it was only me.
Okay, so there you go. So it's like that is...
and Jasmine, sorry. Jasmine didn't perform, just came by sometimes.
Okay. And so that is a thing where it's like, there is a dynamic there that is unfortunate also. And when it comes down to it, you're just going up, trying your material like everyone else. You're doing comedy. You're a comedian doing comedy. So I had a show on Tuesday. You never performed there before. So if I don't remember how we met, but like I'm sure I'd be like, hey, come out. You could perform on a Tuesday.
Like, oh my God.
Like it's just
I felt so
basically
honored.
keeping it to comedy
And
because
so,
that was
because
that's the most important thing we're doing in that night.
I don't show my appreciation for you guys that often, but everything you do, it just means a lot. Especially like the Rana, come to Clara. Rana, you did awesome today. It just means a lot.
That's good. Thank you.
I'm being nice, okay?
That's very rare. I feel uncomfortable.
Shit, you got that on tape.
Well,
Damn it.
you were legitimately, your first time that I saw was like really good, and that's rare for someone to do an open mic and just immediately be the kind of person you just want at your open mics or showcases or whatever.
Ellen mentioned that. Well, you said that you listened to Ellen's podcast.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
mentioned that where she dressed up on stage, but that is when it is at least Ellen's maybe not as offensive with her jokes, but it's still kind of dark, or more maybe not dark, but the delivery is so monotone, dry. Yeah, dry is the word, not monotone. But and so
I know
it's
English better than you.
yeah. I mean, everyone does, but so that no big deal, right? Right, Bea?
The
Yeah, there you go. So. So, yes, Bea. Good job, Bea. So there is like a cool juxtaposition of this person that you're like, oh, they'll be so kind because they're pretty and statuesque, and then fucking with the audience. And like, I was saying that even for myself, I'm just like a tall, happy dude. And whenever I think of like, oh, I have this dark joke, I really have to, it's, I don't know, maybe it's a little harder for me to when I'm, what do you think? What?
No, I love you when you are dark. Not, I shouldn't say love. I appreciate your style when you are. No, really, in Dark Knight, he was hilarious.
I mean, on
because
dark,
it's so abstract.
but there's especially. I mean, you're talking about the Dark Night that we'd have. What is it called? Dark Comedy Night.
Dark Comedy Night.
Yeah, Dark Comedy Night. So everyone knows it's Dark Comedy Night, and so it's a little easier when it's just me. Let's say hosting, and then I don't know what
Dark comedy when hosting is risky unless it's late into the show and you've already established a lot of trust.
Why?
Because you always have the risk of losing the audience, and if you lose the audience as the host, you're kind of making the show a little bit worse for all the comedians.
Right.
You can totally do it. I think also in this discussion is if you say dark stuff with a smile, it works way better. Like I have a long bit about my dad dying, and I just have to start that with like a big smile on my face and like, guys, it's okay. Like I'm not. This does not upset me. It should not upset you. Let's get to the funny stuff.
That just made me think. So I watched back the burlesque night that Beatrice put on, where I performed, and I started with a joke that just popped in my head. Oh no, it was actually given to me from someone where it was
cancer joke.
The cancer joke, where it was risky to start like that. But the one thing I really liked about that joke, the joke is basically like, because Beatrice was talking about what's it called, the astrology. See, you know English better than me. Astrology. So. And then I was like, oh, we were talking about astrology. Well, I'm a Cancer. You can tell by my hair.
That was funny.
And it was like half laughter, half, oh. And I love when people go like, oh, God. Do you like that? Do you like that reaction of people going like, oh, God?
I feel like, yeah, it makes me go on weirdly.
Because I've seen many times where I'm watching, or at Clar especially, and I'm standing at the back pretty much out the door because there's no room for the comedians, and like I see the looks from the people from the side, and there's like you say something and some girl's like, oh, but she's covering her face, but she has a smile underneath.
Yep.
Like it's such a good reaction.
Particular, and I took Rana to a showcase in Gdańsk, and I think you did great. You were concerned about it because half the audience was covering their eyes.
Yes,
but they were laughing. Just
for me, I can't watch that. For me at the moment. Because I think I bombed.
You did not bomb.
But because they're shy to laugh. They don't feel comfortable laughing at these subjects, even though I'm like making a terrorist joke. I'm from the Middle East, you know? So you can laugh. I'm making fun of things that
I like to do.
in my free time. I'm trying to break this. To make them, no, it's okay, laugh. It's a Holocaust joke.
Right, I will say at that show, because is that one of the bigger shows you've done?
Yeah, definitely.
I was hosting and I was off in the corner, and you kept kind of looking to me and I think you even apologized to me at one point.
Yes,
and I think just go with it.
That's the thing. I'm so nice. Yeah. Even in like. Tuesday or Wednesday shows, I would look at you guys and just like, is this okay? Is this okay?
Also, a huge part of this is like you're very young into comedy. Like when was it you first performed? Like less than a year ago?
9 months, she said.
9 months.
9 months.
March 2022.
So you're just now being born.
Yeah. So it's like, it's very, like there's so much to learn and so much to like grow.
I'm really experienced. I've done it like 13 months. So I think I can take it under my wing.
I was kind of shocked when he said that he performed 1 year and went on tour and stuff, which was very impressive. And you're also very good on stage. I watched you 9 months ago, actually, in Boho. This was the first time I saw you guys. And I really liked you.
Okay.
Both of you.
She pointed at me first. But yeah.
Okay.
No, you did the tall joke. And I was like, this guy.
Classic
Ariel's
tall
famous
jokes.
joke, I'm tall.
I'm tall.
Yeah. But you did something about Americans and how something, I don't remember really, but it was funny. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet those. And
But were you already thinking of doing comedy then?
No. I think of doing everything. I have a lot of things I want to do. And comedy, stand-up, I told my friend like 4 years ago that I would like to try it. But
4 years ago?
Yeah. Then I came to Boho. I watched you guys. I was like, I can do that.
Yeah, sure. Classic.
I can do that.
Now,
yeah.
wait. Why did you ever think you wanted to do comedy? You were just always funny around friends? You were...
No, not like that. Bill Burr, watched him, Addicted. I was like, it's so interesting to see that people be funny on stage and make stand-up joke. And if I can do it, it's good. So I tried it for fun. It's the same. I tried theater. I did improv in Turkey for 6 months.
Okay. Is there a lot of stand-up you were watching when you were a kid at all? Or is it a newer thing that you've seen?
Stand-up, no, but I grew up watching The Simpsons and South Park.
Okay. So comedy stuff.
Yeah, dark comedy also. I'm used to comedy being offensive or critical. Modern Family, everything I like the dark jokes growing up. But then in high school, I met stand-up and stuff.
And,
that was nice.
Did you see stand-up live before coming to Poland?
No, I never been to a stand-up show before. It was my first open mic 9 months ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. But watching it.
Watching it.
Watching it. Okay.
Because in Turkey also it's not like a huge scene, except in Istanbul. I lived in Ankara. My parents also, everyone lives in Ankara. I came here, I'm like, Rana, you like stand-up comedy, you watch it all the time, let's go watch a show.
Yeah.
And I went, but I didn't know the difference between open mics and a real show and what heckling meant, what bombing meant. And
sure.
Everything.
And then you learn bombing so well.
Yep. The second time I performed, no laughs in Boho.
In Boho, you did it?
Yeah, the second time. I have a video of it. Oh my God.
Boho is Boho, for the audience, it's like maybe a 30-person tiny
very small
theater. It's very much a stage. Like it's a stage and there's like theater seating. So it's so small.
Yes.
It's like a little box.
Right.
But it used to get filled.
To get filled and it was quite nice. But I remember a lot of great sets bombing in that place. Do you also recall this?
I think, because it's so little people, if they're not all on the same page, it's easy for them to not all be on the same page or all together. Like they join together very, very easily, I think.
Also because it was my second set ever, I did things I was not comfortable with. I was like dating and...
do you have jokes from when you first started where you're like, oh, I would never do that again?
Yes, I have I can't know, sex jokes.
Yeah.
You would never do a sex joke again?
I don't think it's in my element.
I saw you do a necrophilia joke 3 days ago.
Necrophilia?
Having sex with a dead person. but you won't. You won't do sex about jokes. You won't do jokes about having sex with a living person.
Yeah.
Just if they're dead.
Just if they're dead.
Then it's okay with Islam if
they're dead and a Jew. Yes.
If they're dead, it's allowed. Yeah.
That was
that's Rana.
Now for the
Yes, true.
For
even Bea.
For that whole
to make silly jokes that make an entire room laughing.
Sorry.
You are smart.
Yeah, there you go. She's silly jokes. But I think people need to know who you are. And slowly but surely, the more they'll know who you are, the easier your job will be on stage. Not like for me where it's like, oh, we like him and therefore whatever he says, it'll be great. It's more that you're so offensive that they have to know that you're just joking.
But that's the thing, not who I am, but how is my style.
No, they need to know your full name, where you grew up, who your family is. They need to know all that. No, like Anthony Jeselnik. You're talking about building a following that gets you and expects the humor and isn't shocked by it. And when they come to see you, they're there for that.
Yes.
But no one really knows Anthony Jeselnik. No one really knows him. Just like that he does this kind of comedy.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
This is what-
Jordan tried another joke about needing to know your
That was a
name.
joke.
What is
I was joking. No one needs to know.
No one understands his jokes anymore.
kind of
He's
persistent
losing it.
with that?
Very funny.
All
Bea
right,
thinks I'm funny.
But yeah, so I think in general though, when I go up and introduce you, like whatever, to be like, oh well, you'll like her, blah blah blah.
She's creepy.
But I'll say that usually afterwards though,
Yeah.
and like, or maybe not. I don't know.
No,
actually,
you say it in the beginning.
I do say it at the beginning,
And and then we changed it to Ray of Sunshine.
and yeah. So I think I don't know. I think just from my perspective as a host for the night, to get people to be like, these are jokes, and she, as much as I say she's just like that on stage, I think that's also, or just like that backstage, I think that's also a noticeable joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not, people aren't actually be like, oh, is she actually like that on stage? I think people realize that I'm kidding around.
But that's the thing. Like, but if you are coming to a comedy show and you see me on stage with a mic, like I don't understand people getting offended by the joke. For
I don't
example,
get it either.
like they kind of assume that I'm racist or that I'm homophobic. But if you look at the bigger picture, I am on stage, I am holding a mic,
Right.
it's a show,
Yes.
I am smiling like a psychopath, you know.
You've only performed in Poland, though. And Poland, these audiences are kind of still learning what stand-up is.
Oh yeah.
And they're slowly learning. So, like, we can now on
Yeah,
stage...
very much so.
We can, even in the past year, like, now we can make jokes about bombing or killing.
Mm-hmm.
And enough people have been to shows multiple times that they've started to learn that vernacular. Whereas if you did that a year ago, they'd be like, what's bombing? Are you a terrorist? Or like, what's killing? Are you a murderer? And now they're starting to become like stand-up fans.
Right.
But still, most of them are not used to the darkest
I
style
love
of
it.
comedy.
Like after every show I do, I love it when someone says like what's triggered them or what was, because they say I'm great, but I know I'm great. I'm like, tell me what offended you.
Right.
And when I hear it, I'm like, okay, good. What's you? And it's so different. Everyone, like someone is the homophobia, other is the racism, and it's always fun to hear.
But have you actually ever had someone go afterwards and be like, why the fuck did you say that joke about, I don't know, the Jews?
Of course
or something?
not. I am a woman, nice woman.
But this is the thing. I think Bea had that.
Bea had that?
Bea had that.
Bea had that with the Ukraine joke.
With a Ukraine joke, and it wasn't even. It was pro-Ukraine, but the person afterwards was like, "Why are you even talking about Ukraine? You shouldn't joke about Ukraine whatsoever." And her joke was very light and very pro-Ukraine.
I think you're misremembering a little bit.
I'm probably.
Wait, was it a woman who came up to her?
It was. And
it was a woman who came up to her. No, it was a guy.
It was a guy?
It was a guy?
It was a guy.
Okay, here's what it was. It was a Ukraine joke combined with a rape joke, which for that person
Sounds great.
It was something right up your alley.
Yep.
But I think Bea wasn't maybe doing it with as much of a "Hi guys, I'm here to talk about murder" kind of a persona.
But that's the thing. She still held the mic. She still did jokes after that and before that. So you can understand that it was maybe a bad joke, but it was a joke.
It's not like you can say whatever you want just because you're holding a mic. That would be a good life hack.
I think you can say jokes by holding a mic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, of all places, it's a comedy show. You're going up on stage. You're holding a mic. Like, that's the spot. It's not just like you're on the street yelling.
Also, you're not doing a TED talk about like these racism and things like a straight face. You're kind of putting literally a show.
Yeah.
Like Michael Scott. You can't say that Michael Scott is racist because you know it's a show. Like you can say Michael Scott is racist, but you can't tell him like not to be funny. I don't know what to say.
I think you're saying like
did you mean like it's in a show? You can't.
It's in a show. You know, it's not the show is racist. It's like this character in the show is racist for a purpose as well.
It's to be funny, yes.
Yeah, it's to be funny. And so like the show that we're doing is a comedy show. People are up with the mic.
But the question is, because I saw a comment, is that The Office, if it were to be done today, it wouldn't have happened. Like no one, because they would cancel The Office.
I think more so they wouldn't produce it because they're scared of people's reaction. But if it's really funny and the network is like, fuck it, we're just putting it out, then it's fine. Because even like Dave Chappelle on Netflix had jokes about trans people.
Yep.
And people were, outraged, it's so terrible. But Netflix was like, we are putting it out. Screw you.
I think it's coming back around. I think the wave has crested. So Me Too had a lot of positive stuff in it, and there was a reckoning that needed to happen. But along with that came some overcorrections. And I think we are coming back around to an increasingly more relaxed way of thinking about what you can, what we can and cannot say. Of course, there's still that 5% of people that yell and scream, but they're being ignored way more as media diversifies. And now there are 30 different streaming channels. And now just stuff that these channels think will make money will get made.
Yeah, but one caveat I will say that I think you're talking about North American culture because we're here in
culture that matters.
Yeah, but we're here in Poland, in Warsaw, and our.
Did you say that's the only culture that matters?
Yeah, it was a joke.
Again, he's trying his jokes and
I'm doing jokes. They're all.
All right, Bea liked it. All right.
What'd you think of that joke, Bea?
I think enough said.
Yeah.
That's how we all feel.
I think there are some things where it's like because we live on the internet so much that people think what's happening on the internet is real life, whereas we're doing shows in Warsaw, and as much as you'll do like a lot of offensive material, and you just said no one comes up to you afterwards and is like, "What the fuck? That's fucked up."
Yeah.
And in fact, people really like you, and they'll come up to you, and be like, "You were my favorite," or whatever.
Exactly.
After the show,
which is very interesting.
and that's real life. That's not the stuff online where we see like protests of that maybe make no sense, or of course there's protests that make sense, but like people outraged about Dave Chappelle or something.
No, but that's the thing. Like I heard in the US, like people paying extra for security in open mics, or I think the freedom of speech, what we say. Like I think of my material and I'm kind of scared when saying it.
Yes.
That also means something. Yes, people never attack me for saying it, but I know there is a chance. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
Especially if I go to the US, because people said my material would work great there. I can't, because also there's a girl who was thrown a beer at for doing like a Trump joke or something like that.
Sure.
But just if one person throws a beer at you, you're set. You're famous now. So you should be looking for that.
Let's hope for that. Yeah, exactly. Maybe get stabbed as well.
Yeah. Oh, then you're gonna have special immediately.
No, but
stabbed while smiling. Rana, no last name.
I'm gonna say, like, I am sometimes afraid of saying the joke.
There is also there is that factor of you being Muslim and a woman.
So Ariel,
so I'm saying
are
that
you assuming
that
my
matter?
gender?
Actually, it totally matters for certain jokes that you would be doing if you go into the States and you're in certain parts of the States and you're making these jokes. If it's the wrong audience, they could be absolutely like, "What the fuck you, man," that kind of.
Don't go to Alabama, but I think if you stick to the real cities, I think you'll be fine.
The real cities, Alabama. First of all,
it's
is a
not
state.
real. It's Birmingham.
All right.
Every city, no city in Alabama is a real city. Fuck you, Alabama. I hate you.
What the hell, man?
I used to have a job where I had to.
Alabama is famous for incest.
And not NASA, not Nazis. And Nazis, not NASA Nazis.
NASA Nazis.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first thought is incest.
I used to have a job.
Yeah, it's true.
I'd love it there.
You'd feel at home.
I gotta explain my hatred of Alabama really quickly.
The what?
My hatred of Alabama. I feel like I should explain.
I don't think you need to.
Yeah, you don't
All
need
right,
to.
fine. I won't
No,
tell
I'm kidding.
the
Is
story.
that Alabama is known, but of course explain.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can't tell a single fucking story on this podcast.
All right,
it's
man.
funny
No, it's cool.
though.
It's cool.
Did you ever
No, you tell your story. Tell your story.
You will never use Robo Bea.
No, tell your story.
Hello, Jordan.
Hi, Bea. See, she likes me.
Okay.
Okay.
We're here.
We're here. It's about Alabama.
One of my jobs in college was to work at a research
You
company.
had a job?
Yes, I've had jobs my entire life until I did comedy. Had a job at a research company, and I just had to call random numbers all over the U.S. and ask how they felt about climate change. And if I called any number in Alabama or Mississippi, they would just yell at me and tell me that they hated Obama and tell me that I was a bad person. And so if a number came up and it was an Alabama or Mississippi area code, I just would mark in the system that they didn't answer.
Okay.
I skewed the data. I'm sorry. I was 19.
Wait. So you're saying that you calling someone on their private number when they're at home, they started yelling at you, then they're bad people?
But what do you say?
Well, do you have a few minutes to talk about climate change?
No, go fuck yourself. That's what I would
say no, thank you. No, but these people would say yes, and then I have to do the survey, and then just use that as an opportunity to like be mean and air their political bullshit.
Well, they need to like relieve stress, you know.
Yeah,
and you call
vent
them.
a little.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck you, Alabama, and fuck you, Mississippi. That's all I have to say. I will never go there. And if I ever see you in Poland, Alabama, and Mississippi, I'll say hi. I'm pretty polite.
Yeah,
in person.
come on, man. Like Mississippi, David Banner, there's a good rapper.
Well,
anyways,
the people that get out.
There. All right. Anyways, so let's move on.
Let's moving on.
No,
Back to Rana.
I had a calling job as well, but it was a sales in Krakow. I talk about it a lot.
What were you selling?
It's my first job. It was for Google Ads. I was helping them with their account and stuff. Kind of.
Did you cold call people? Like call them at their home and try and sell them shit?
It really develops your character. I got those mean people as well, and they couldn't see my face, so I had to be extra nice. And like extra with my voice and stuff. So I remember my first call, I called someone in Egypt because I worked in MENA. So it's the Middle East. And he had a terrible internet connection. So I was like, hi, how are you? I'm calling you from Google Ads and stuff like that. And he was like, okay. And then there was the silent for like 5 minutes because he needs to open laptop and Wi-Fi was terrible. And I was like, so how's the weather in Egypt? And then just starting conversations. But no, I had terrible people as well.
Did you have people yell at you as well, though?
Yeah. They're like, the other guy called me and he was like, he did not help me. He costed me money. And I'm like, in my head, I will do the same thing. But no, sir, no, I'm here to help you. And it took me half an hour to like calm him down. And
I love calling jobs. I had one when I was like 17, 18. It was so much fun.
No.
Only
Sales.
person on the planet who thinks that.
You had one?
I had one. I had one selling cell phones to people. I would call them on their house line.
Hey, I'm on a cell phone right now.
Was that in the 60s? Or?
It was, cell phones in the 60s. Come on, get your history right. But I worked. I mean, I was a teenager working at a call center.
That's why I said in the 60s.
Oh, hey, you brought it good. All right, you got the joke. You got
Someone, for our listeners, Ariel is old.
Yes.
Someone was saying, because you're 38, right?
37.
37. Somebody brought this up and they were like, Ariel doesn't look that old at all. I was like, yeah, it's because he's far away. He's way up there.
Yeah.
You can't see him.
You can't see me. You can't tell by my face. You get close. I'm an old guy. But yeah, so the calling job was awesome because I was a teenager. I would do accents to people. I would do like British accents or Australian accents just to like.
Oh, that's fun.
Just to do it. Yeah, I made fun.
But
like,
did people, your company, did it hear what you were saying to the people?
Well, the only problem I had is I apparently demasculinized some guy because I was selling cell phones, right? And it was in Canada, it's like a monopoly on cell phones. There's like cell phone companies. There's only like 2. So I guess that's really not a monopoly, but they're kind of the only ones. So they raise their prices with each other and fuck with Canada a bit. But the one I was selling for was the biggest. We had the best range in Canada. Canada's a huge country, so it had the best cell phone reception from this company, right?
I want to buy one now. You're
right.
great at this.
So awesome. So I was calling someone in the wilderness in British Columbia, on the West Coast, in the mountains or in the forest. And it was an old man, and he was talking about how he goes hunting. And I was saying to him, well, you need a cell phone, because what if something happens to you? And we have the best cell phone reception. It's a great thing to have. And he said, you know what, you're right, but I'm going to have to talk to my wife. And what I said to him was like, sir, if you were buying a new gun, would you talk to your wife? And he was like, you know what, you're right, let's do it. And then I took the sale, and I had to get someone else to verify the sale. So put up my hand, guy came, took over the sale for me, and they called me into the office. They were like, listen, because it was my first call. Like, we appreciate
That was
the first call.
And it was a sale, though.
Yeah, it was a sale. And they were like, we appreciate the fact that you're so enthusiastic, but you cannot talk about a man's wife on
a man's wife.
Yeah, on like the call. You can't be doing that.
I forgot because I did that job, my call job, with my girlfriend at the time. We would like sit next to each other. We were
You
both
had a
terrible.
girlfriend?
Yes.
That's a surprise to me too, right, Bea?
Yes, true. Can I do you a blowjob?
No.
See?
Okay.
I knew he was gay.
I'm a magnet. So we would pass the time by, we would just write down the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Okay.
And we would
alphabet, I get it.
Yeah. You know what the alphabet is, right? I know it's different in Arabic, but you probably know the alphabet. And then we would just pick a different name for every single call.
Uh-huh.
And we would start to run out of names. So it'd be like, hi, I'm Samantha.
Right.
Would you like to do a study about climate change?
And so you would do accents.
We would. I forgot about that part. That was a fun part, but that gets old if you do it day after day.
Yeah, I think with these jobs, it's like, I mean, that's why my jobs are all like DJ, comedian. I don't have real
jobs.
Yeah. Because it's just like, I would just have fun mostly and then not do it right.
If you're not having fun, like me, if I'm not having fun, I just lose my fucking mind at a job.
I think having fun is very overestimated.
Overrated?
Overrated.
We know English too.
But why, Rana?
No, I had a job as well. I didn't have fun, but it paid well. And this generation, people...
You're this generation.
No, she's a different generation than you and I.
No,
you're Gen Z?
Yes, I am.
You're Zoomer.
I am young and healthy.
And you're Gen X.
No, I'm a boomer.
Millennial? Technically?
Yeah,
I'm technically...
You are a millennial?
Yeah. But anyways, go on.
Yeah, but you can have a boring job and an amazing life.
Sure.
That's what I wanted. But maybe not for you guys.
I've done that for... More recently, I've stopped moving jobs every 6 months a year, and I settled into a job for 2.5 years, and I did that.
The longest job you had is 2.5 years?
Yeah.
I think the issue is deeper.
Yeah.
Why, is that not long enough, or is that too long?
It's too short. My father worked at a company for 20 years.
Oh, no. Shoot me in the head. No.
Yeah.
No, I would
you
rather
want me
die.
to shoot you?
Actually, I'm up for it.
She's got a gun.
I was like, okay, wait.
You want to shoot him in the head?
Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
No, but I understand because I think it's more though for feel, because you're right that millennials are more like, oh, have fun in your life and that kind of thing. But it's
also Gen Z.
Gen Z maybe too, yeah.
I think people are like this, and now just people have more options, and you don't have to work the same job for 20 years anymore because the internet exists.
But also, it's hard to make it from the internet or to do side hustles and stuff. I don't know.
I just mean that it's now easier to find
a better
jobs.
job.
You don't have to walk around your city and give your paper application.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
But you see, even in those generations, I know a friend's dad who's a super fun, awesome guy, very giving and wonderful. He worked at a company for 35 years or something, but loved it. And because he had a stable job, he had a wonderful family. And so
that's the dream.
Those kind of things, the kind of dream, that kind of life was the best life he could have at the moment.
But
Whereas,
maybe maybe it changed.
Yeah, it just changed for people. So it's not necessarily a boring job. I'm just saying, I'm sure he had fun at his job. Even I worked at washing cars at a car dealership. It was a very fun job. It was so fun.
You can make anything fun if you have
make things fun.
Good people around you.
Yeah.
And I went to the Middle East recently, and the airport security guys.
You went to Jordan, of all places.
Jordan. It was Jordan.
Because he loves Jordan.
By the way, I thought... Please continue.
Should he continue?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I won't continue.
No, continue.
You can make any job fun is the point. And in Akaba, Jordan, at the airport security guys were having so much fun. The guy took my guitar out of the bag and just started fake playing the guitar and smiling at me. And I was like, oh, this is nice. It's because he can't drink. He's got to find ways to
No,
fill
I
his
love
day.
that airport. I love Jordan's airport. They're hilarious because the bureaucracy, how do you
Bureaucracy
there is not as strict as other countries, so they're pretty cool.
They're
you
pretty
could
chill.
have your weight increase, and he'll be like, what, just put it. Just
Are you saying you can be fat and be in the airport?
You can never be fat.
One thing, cultural difference, because I realized that one aspect of growing up in Canada is people are joking a lot all the time.
But what type of jokes? Maple syrup.
Really like light, shitty jokes. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You go to a grocery store behind the counter, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm searching for my change." Ah, ha, ha, ha. And for some reason, that's funny. You're like, what the fuck?
Do you take gold coins?
Yeah, and that kind of shitty thing. But like, at least it's like playful and friendly, and the person behind the counter is like, "Oh, it's a nice date out. Are you gonna blah blah blah?" And you're like, "Hoo hoo hoo," and it's light. It's very very light. Is where you grew up? Is it at all like that?
The Middle East, I think, has the best dark comedy because we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And comedy, my father is the most hilarious person I know.
Mm-hmm.
And his like side of the family, they're pretty hilarious. Political jokes, dark jokes, and everything. They're not like that. We don't
But
have.
like behind the counter, you buy something.
Yeah.
You're not going to make jokes.
Like Amsterdam. Amsterdam is like that.
Where it's light jokes.
Yeah, just everyone jokes with each other.
And so the Middle East behind the counter, no.
The
no
Middle
jokes.
East, if you're a woman, it depends.
If you're a man, yes. From my experience, short time there because I'm a man.
You're a
Our
man?
listeners, I'm technically a man.
You're a
Technically.
man.
The men would joke. The women kind of just weren't around. Or if they
Maybe-
is what just was my short experience.
Yeah. But no, I have Jordan people, my friends live in Jordan, and they're pretty cool. But as a sense of humor, I think my dad in Middle East has a better sense of humor, in my opinion, because I'm Turkish and kind of know English. So Middle East humor is very, very subtle, dark. But that's the thing. The stand-up in the Middle East at the moment is not as dark as it can.
Do you think that's because of like the overseeing bodies, like the government, or
Yeah, we don't have that strong emphasis on freedom of speech there.
Right.
You know, you
There's
can't just.
There's a blasphemy law in Jordan.
What is that?
You legally cannot publicly make fun of
Of
any religion
Yeah, also the royal family.
or that. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, a lot of also in Turkey as well. You can't make fun of the government. They put you in jails and
Right.
stuff. So yeah, if we get the freedom to do, I think we would be great. And
Right. But maybe then the dark humor would kind of subside a little bit.
Yeah, maybe it will lose its.
Yeah, because it's like, it's always oppression, always like, you press down on someone and they need to pop out. It's the same with like Catholic schoolgirls and sex. You know what I mean? Where it's
let's
like, you're
talk
not
about
allowed to have
sex,
sex. And then there's a daycare in the school because
Is that why you hang
everyone's
out by
pregnant.
the Catholic school?
That's one reason. I'm more into the boys.
I think I forget who said this, but like someone said probably the best jokes ever were told in the concentration camps of the
Oh my
Holocaust.
God.
Because the
Fuck that
incredible
thing, but yeah.
Oh my
oppression, like the
God.
worst situation you could possibly be in,
Yep.
you have to find something in it.
I mean,
I think
you'd hope
that's.
so, but
I think that's why I get inspired when I when I make a dark joke. It just feels relief some weird way. It's
Yeah.
maybe
Let's talk about this feeling of when they go, haha. Like, I only get that occasionally because I tend to keep my stuff
light.
less edgy. But I've been trying some edgier stuff lately, and I've been getting some of the groans,
Mhm.
do you like it?
sometimes without the laughs.
Yeah.
But
Do you like it though?
yeah, actually, because
Mhm.
it makes you. What is it? It makes you feel a little bit powerful,
Mhm.
in that like your disgust is trivial and doesn't hurt me, and it's like a little. Your disgust is like a little plaything.
Mhm.
Do you feel like that at all?
Well, I think it was Patrice O'Neal, his name, right?
Patrice O'Neal, yeah.
Patrice
Mhm.
O'Neal. He said that a joke should like make half the room uncomfortable and the other half laughing, and I kind of agree. But mostly, I get all the room uncomfortable. I don't know how I feel about that.
Uh-huh.
The grounds, I don't know how I feel about it. Like I need the laughs as well. Like it's
Yeah.
not enough
Yeah.
for them to go. Ugh.
No, that's not what you get.
Sometimes I get. Usually I get the laughs as well, which is great. But I like to see who got offended the most. For example, when I do an uncle joke, and I usually look at women,
Right.
because they would go like,
Right,
this,
right.
like very
Cover their
shocked,
face.
and that just makes me want to continue.
But are you maybe have an urge to pick out who's ever the most offended and be like, I know something about your uncle, or something like that? Like, do you
Yeah,
crowd
like-
work with them and try to like bring them into it? Do you ever have that urge?
Yes, like my Vietnamese joke with the Vietnamese guy. I joked about him eating dogs. It was
not my favorite joke. But yeah.
It was specifically, or
It was specific to the moment
to the guy.
and the guy. Because he was eating a dog right there. So, I mean, you have to comment on it.
We were serving dogs.
Yeah,
what else
we were
are you gonna
serving
do?
dog that evening. And you kind of like, you got to read the room and talk about the room.
Even in my daily life, I'm sure you noticed, I tend to push people to the limit with what I'm saying, like pick on you specifically. So I try to bring it on stage as well because it's fun for me, and I think it's fun for you guys and the crowd.
I think in general, also like I have the same thing with wanting those kind of groans, but I do fight it a little bit because we are trying to make people laugh still. Like I do have that with my sisters where I'll poke at them and they're like, fuck off. And I'm like, hey. And for me, it's funny. For them, it's not. And I love that feeling, but I've done it on stage where I'm like, why am I doing this? This is actually, I'm not getting laughs. I'm getting the groans.
This is in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
I'm working on a bit about fake orgasms, mostly men faking orgasms.
They do that?
Oh, yeah, this is the thing. A lot of men have done it, and it's just never talked about, and I think it's very funny.
Yeah, start a movement about it.
Yeah. Men also get tired and just want to sleep. But if I deliver that joke wrong, if I start with talking about female orgasms, I get just the groans because people are like, oh, another guy talking about
fake orgasms,
women faking orgasms. But part of me, when that's happened, has been like, I kind of like this because I don't care. Like I don't like it because you feel kind of at a certain point invulnerable to it. Like it's not good for the set,
right?
But it reassures you that like what this crowd thinks in this moment doesn't reflect on me. Yeah, you know, you can sort of feel free from it, and if you can then bring things back after that to show them like, no, actually I am like pretty funny and like I have thought more about this than women fake orgasms. Yeah.
Also, you talked about like feeling more powerful or power.
Yeah.
Is that important for you on stage?
Probably it's important for everybody to an extent. I do like to control everything in my life, including women. So yeah, I think.
Oh, you're an Arab.
That's
no, it was actually a serious question because when I'm sitting, it's very different. I noticed because I watch my performances, and when I'm sitting, I like to feel this power. But when I'm standing up, I don't like to feel as powerful, which is weird.
You don't like to feel it, or you feel you aren't as powerful?
I feel I aren't as powerful.
Right.
So power plays a big role when acting, when doing the stand-up. And to be honest, I still didn't figure out how to play that power thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be overly powerful from the crowd, but you don't want to be also a coward
You don't want to be that overconfident comedian who's the only one in the room that thinks they're funny. Yeah. That's like the worst kind of bomb.
I mean, that's the worst. Well, we talked about this, I think, on this podcast, where it's like the worst bomb is a super confident guy who is not funny, and he's not going with the crowd. He's just overly confident.
I also don't like the other extreme where he just like tells dick jokes and how stupid his life is and stuff like that and bombs. That's also like a bad look.
Oh, like self-deprecating and it's not funny as well.
It's not funny.
Do you have any pet peeves?
Oh, yes.
About, the reason I brought this up is because I have a pet peeve about, I don't like it, especially when open micers make the joke, you know, they don't pay me for this, or like comedians don't make a lot of money, so I'm broke.
I heard you say that.
That's because recently I only do comedy. And for me, it's true. But before, but I don't like it when someone who.
But you didn't say it on stage. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Oh, I think I have done it once on stage. But I noticed that my first solo show, I made a joke about how I was trying to save money on a hotel.
You make jokes?
Because I wasn't.
Yes, true. To make silly jokes that make an entire room laughing, you are smart.
I mean, I guess so,
I'm smart.
Continue.
My first like solo show where people were there to just see me, 100 people. I did a joke that I would do at open mics, where I talk about how I went to Barcelona to do shows and they didn't pay me for the shows, and I usually say it in a way that gets a laugh. Didn't get a laugh. because people have paid to come see me. They didn't want to hear about how I do this for free.
Yeah.
So you have to start putting yourself in a different category when you do the solo shows. You get different laughs and people perceive you in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, I said it's similar to what I told you once, where it's like, try not to say this show sucks. And it's not because, I'm offended. It's like, it's a show for the audience. They came in and they feel shitty about themselves if they're like, everyone's saying it's a shitty show.
Why
it's
am
like,
I
why
here?
am I fucking here?
I could be watching
The
Pale Blue Eye on Netflix.
So you're putting on a show, even if it is for 7 people and it's supposed to be a room of 50 and you're like, oh, it's a small room, but you're still putting on a show. You have to entertain them.
Yeah. Last show when I kind of like jokes did not work, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great. This is amazing. Okay.
I remember you guys are doing great. I remember that line. You guys are doing great.
But my biggest pet peeve in open mics is when a comedian does like 5-minute set and gets no laughs, maybe one laugh, and he does it in this venue. And next week he does the same set in the same venue.
Learns nothing.
Yeah. And then the third week also does the same thing in the same way. Also 2 weeks apart. That's kind of a pet peeve when I hear the same thing that don't... but if you mean for me, what you were saying?
Which comedian is this?
It's not in Warsaw.
It's not in Warsaw? People in Warsaw have stopped doing that. You can't do that anymore. Because we'll give you shit.
The bar is high here in Warsaw.
Yeah.
Like people... As comedians, I think when someone bombs, it's very bad luck. You don't want to bomb.
Yeah.
It's making it hard for people to start. We had a recent Wednesday show where we had some 3 new people in the first half, and they did for first, second, third time performing. I think they did okay. And I asked people after, how was the show? And they're like, really rough in the first half, but thank God things picked up when the real comedians came in or whatever. Yeah. And that makes it hard to start. And I don't know what to do about that.
Maybe not bring the 3, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, I have a 2 new comedian max. That's what I have for
because
the show.
3 is 15 minutes in the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
I try to put in between. Comedians
also,
with strong sets, but even still, people get the impression. Yeah,
I mean, whenever I do it on Tuesday, it's 2 max. I don't do more than 2 brand new comedians because there's 10 altogether, so it's just 10 minutes. And also, I do try and warm them up to the fact that it's their first time or they're a brand new person. Not fuck this person, let's see what they do. Not that you do that, but that kind of. There is something with the hosting that has to happen.
I never do that. You do that.
But also, you make fun of them, which makes it fun.
Yeah, because we're all in it together. We're all watching these people. We're all in it together. Guys, we're in it together.
It's a song.
So and plus, it's hard for me not to make fun of people. I love it. I love doing it.
I love doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the Wednesday show that I host, you'll come up and you'll be like, Jordan, you stupid fucking idiot. and the audience is like, what is wrong
I haven't done that in long. I haven't done that in months. But
you did it 2 weeks ago.
Did I?
You did.
What did I do?
You were closing the show when you did that.
And what did I say?
I think you were just like, Jordan, the fucking, I don't remember what you said.
I think I remember it as well.
Because I remember, I think that was the show where I was like, you played a song and I was like, cut it off.
Oh yeah, you were yelling.
Cutting off.
That's
Start it up. Okay. Something like that. But I don't remember calling you a stupid idiot.
Okay, maybe I just had flashbacks when you did that because you were being aggressive, tall man, which is
funny.
It's funny for us. I think for the new people in the audience, it's a little intimidating.
Yeah. Well, especially because I started off because it was a song I asked you to play, and then it was playing, and then I was like, ha ha ha, hey everyone, and people are smiling. And then I was like, cut it off, shut off the fucking music. And then you were struggling with it, and so I think that's why I didn't realize you were intimidated at that moment.
No, I was just like, I gotta open up the app,
And then it finally, while I was waiting there, it finally shut off. And then I was like, all right, start it up again. And then you played, and I was like, all right, cut it off. So maybe that you're confusing with, Jordan, you're a fucking idiot.
I mean, you can see how it would.
I see how
it would relate in my brain.
But then you were like, okay, guys, hi. He always does this. I am Ariel.
I'm tall.
I'm tall. Yeah.
And then everyone was like, oh, he's actually nice.
Yeah, exactly. You see, I'm nice immediately. Although, with that said, so you guys were talking about the audiences in Warsaw. I just did my first stand-up set in Polish yesterday.
Oh, you did it?
Yes, I
How
did
was it?
It actually went amazingly, but Ariel is bragging, but actually it's not bragging because in the sense that I did amazingly because they gave me so much leeway as a foreigner who's trying to speak Polish.
You got to have your first set again.
I got to have
with experience.
I got to have my first set again with experience and with jokes that I know work in English, and I translated them. I translated them. I did one new joke in Polish that also worked, but it was for me. It was like the leeway I got as a person who's trying out for the first time was like a unfair kind of showing of or unfair kind of audience. They were so into what I was saying, or at least they were laughing at what I was saying, that I think it was a little unfair based on the fact that I'm a foreigner in Poland and Polish people love foreigners in Poland.
I mean, you got a bump, but it's not unfair to get a bump. You can get a bump from a great host. You know?
I'm saying more so. It's like it was unfair for just testing out the jokes to see if they work in Polish.
Also, your Polish is that good?
My Polish is fine, but my speed, like if there's a heckler saying something, and I want to say something about astrology, I can't. I don't pull it up in Polish. I don't know the word for astrology in Polish.
Google Translator.
Yeah, and I would have to be like, I got something, and then Google Translate. Exactly. I would have to do something like that. So my speed isn't there, but I can like translate my joke into Polish. Yes.
We were talking about this earlier, that maybe Ariel gets famous in Poland for being the comic who sounds just like a stupid child. In Polish. Have you seen Tropic Thunder?
Yes, of course.
So, Simple Jack?
The guy with the hair, where it was like his movie role was like this mentally challenged person.
My head movies make my eyes rain.
Yeah, and it was just like
that kind of just very offensive representation of a mentally handicapped person. That what if...
Who played it?
Ben Stiller.
What if Ariel's fame arc is just starring in movies, like speaking very simple Polish, simple Jacek.
As like a mentally challenged person.
And he's trapped in fame.
And then you guys are on tour doing it in English. And I'm like, sorry, I got to do this. It pays so much money, and it's just me being mentally challenged.
I got to do Simple Jacek 3. We're filming all week.
I'm sorry, I have to do it. It won't happen though. I'm just doing it for the for the experience, I guess.
You have evidence now that you can do it in Polish, and that you have a parallel track.
Also, it was in Central Poland. What was it?
It was in
Central Comedy Poland, something like that.
Oh, Comedy Central Poland. But like that's why I'm doing it, because they wanted me to.
That's cool.
To do it, and I've never done it in Polish, and I was like, yeah, let me try. The one thing I brought it up just because to see the audience reaction. They were so much more, I think it's harder in English because none of us get leeway as English speakers to an English-speaking audience.
Philip was saying the opposite.
Yeah, also I'm a foreigner. I think kinda.
But you also get leeway because you're a pretty girl. You're going on stage. Aww. And then there's like, I'm a pretty girl. I fuck kids. That kind of thing. That is
not
like...
all kids.
Not all the kids.
Just the pretty ones.
So like that gives you leeway. Sure, but I think that's also your style. That's a different thing than...
No, but also the English is not my mother tongue.
Yeah, but no one... I can't tell when you're speaking to me right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So...
I'm just looking for compliments. Continue.
I think you speak better English than I speak Polish.
We're English mother speakers, in other words.
Yes. Yeah. Mother English speakers? Wait, you said it right.
English mother speakers.
Is that how you said it?
That's what Beatrice calls...
English
mother speakers.
English mother speakers.
Yeah, and so I think like I do speak Polish, but like I speak it very, very stuttery and very like poorly.
But what is your pet peeve in open mics? You didn't say.
Open mics for me, I think more so my pet peeves are as a booker of the open mics, whereas a open micer who's there for the first time with way too many things they want me to do because they're starting, and it's their, like, let's say he's a first timer and he's like, I want to do 7 minutes instead of 5. And I'm like, no, you're getting fucking 5 minutes. And then he's like, well, okay, can you put me on last or whatever? And I'm like, no. And matter of fact, I don't think I want to put you on at all. Like I'm
that's insane.
As much as I'm nice, I'm like either 0, like no anger, or 100. So I'll easily tell someone to go fuck themselves.
When you become 100, can you just call me?
Yeah.
I will be there.
Yeah, just be like, fucking bullshit.
With
this
my
is horseshit.
popcorn. I'm like,
Just
go
watch it.
Ariel. Want a gun?
You have to see it. Then anytime there's a brand new open micer who's giving me shit, I'll write you so you can see my interaction
please.
in front of me and them. Because
One guy had never performed before. He asked me for 20 minutes.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, you can have 5.
Yeah.
And they were 5 terrible minutes.
Oh my God.
I think that, but for me, that's a pet peeve that's amongst all my pet peeves is a lack of awareness. Lack of awareness of a person. Like I've had open micers come up and they're like, is it okay if I do this? I'm like, yeah, buddy, no problem. Of course. Like
I had requests. I had my guitar and stuff, and you were quite nice about it.
Yeah, exactly. I have a guitar. Is that okay? Like, yeah, sure. Just come a little early, do this. Like, absolutely. But to be like, I want my guitar and I want to do 10 minutes and I want to be in the middle and like have these things where I don't know you, man. Like, this is my show. What are you doing?
And there's 10 of you at any given show.
Yeah.
And you can't be giving all this attention to every single fucking person.
And it's not caring about the others, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
it's the same thing. I have a huge pet peeve in Warsaw where people just bump into each other and aren't paying attention when they walk. And I don't get it.
Maybe it's just you bumping into
I do.
bumping into me.
I do spin in a circle with my fists out all the time. That's probably what it is. But like it's a lack of awareness is like, listen, if someone bumps into you,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Then that's an awareness that a person who bumps into you and keeps walking and is like, what the fuck? They just bumped into me. They didn't say anything. Like, fuck that person.
When someone bumps into me, I'm like, thank you.
Thank you. I need the physical touch.
Yeah. It's like, I don't get it much.
Because I have that. Ooh, because your uncle died.
Okay.
Right?
That's right.
No, we're deleting that.
I have that joke about.
We're deleting that. We're deleting that.
I have that joke about przepraszam, right?
I love it.
Yeah, just that Polish people say "excuse me" only as like in a threatening way.
Yeah.
Przepraszam.
Yeah.
And because I have that joke, people do bump into me on the street, like from behind, like bump me out of the way and be like przepraszam, and then I'm just like.
But wait. What do you mean people do? Like they don't recognize you on the street doing that? You're saying
No,
just
no,
right
they
after?
just they're just embodying the
Head.
joke.
Oh.
They're just reaffirming to me.
You're saying just a random
person will come up. This happened last week. Just bumped into me from behind because I was walking too slow or something, and she was like, "Przepraszam."
Actually, after you said that joke, my friend and someone bumped into me, and I was like, there is a comedian who make a joke like this, so it was good. Also, when I'm talking to my other friend, she would do Ariel's
British rubber band
thing joke. It's always fun to.
We're famous, Ariel.
No, I like that. We were talking about that actually with Philip. That like it's fun to have a joke where it's like anytime something happens from real life, it pops into your head. That same joke. So
Also, don't you love it when the crowd remembers your jokes?
Yeah, totally.
The first show I ever did was not the first show, but on my first month I did about killing my sheep, my pet sheep.
Okay.
It was a set about that.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was my breakthrough, if I may say.
Breakthrough bit.
Yeah. So in the burlesque show, a girl was like, "I saw you at Bar Bazaar about killing your sheep," and I was like, "You remember that?" It's always nice.
A great feeling. And so on that note, that's why also we would have you on shows that pay besides the open mics or
That's
like tour
so
around.
nice. That's so nice.
But also you have a good.
You're good enough to do it.
Oh.
You also have a good grasp on how jokes work. Like set up punchline.
It's crazy. I didn't think I was this talented.
Do you know why? Do you know why you have that?
Because I learned English from The Simpsons and South Park, and that's my English.
So you learned set up punchline grammar almost.
Kind of, yeah.
That's pretty intriguing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a good way to learn.
Exactly. Even when I talk English, when I was young, I would do TV scenes. I have videos of me doing TV scenes. I just learned English by scenarios and people literally thinking how to write a conversation and calculating it. And I learned this as English. So it's kind of how I talk.
If I can give you a compliment that I
Again?
already gave you many months ago.
God.
I think one of the first sets I ever saw you do, afterwards I was talking to Ariel and I was like, she just did some jokes that are like TV 5-minute jokes.
You said this way before?
I said this many, many months ago. This is
Oh
like
my
even
God.
so you were already.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! Thank you. I am so beautiful and smart.
I didn't say that.
I
I just thought about
you were
it.
thinking it, yeah. So from the beginning, you already had this really strong intuition on what a good joke is that I think I still kind of don't have.
That makes sense, actually, that you're saying that you got it from The Simpsons and South Park. I follow like a Simpsons clip thing on Instagram, and every time it's stuff I knew and stuff I've seen, but there's so many jokes within like 10 seconds.
Yep.
Like there was one. It was a neighbor's borrowing from. Like Marge opens the door, neighbor comes in and is like, "Hey, do you guys have a sander?" And then Marge is like, "Homer," and like Homer's there, and he's like, "No sander," and he has his feet on a sander. It's going like, zzz. And that's one joke, great joke. And then Marge is like, "Come on, Homer." He's like, "Fine, but you have to give it back to me. It's my favorite sander." And then it looks down and says, "Property of Ned Flanders," like, on the sander. So there's like,
Exactly.
and that was like 10
The
seconds.
timing.
Yeah.
The timing.
So it's like setup, punchline, setup, punchline.
Also, in my daily conversations, I do that a lot. Like when it's a normal conversation, but I tend to make it awkward and weird. I do this as well a lot. It's with the comedic timing. I think I have it naturally.
But do you think that's more for people you don't know? You try and do it on purpose to make because
that's the thing. I don't do it on purpose because I don't like to make things awkward, but I do it effortlessly.
Do you mean
effortlessly?
Yes.
I mean, I do bits for myself all the time. When I'm with people, I'll say something that I know they're not going to even get. But I'm just like,
most of the time.
I did a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And then also, when they are listening, they still don't get it.
They still get it. No, they're listening. Yeah. I learned this from my mom because I grew up with my mom. I thought my mom was a crazy
You grew
person.
up with a mom?
I grew up with a mom. Did you grow up with a mom?
Two, actually.
Go
You're
on, Jordan.
saying your mom raised you.
I learned. My mom did raise me. I learned doing bits for myself from my mom because my whole childhood, my mom was doing stuff that I thought was just insane person behavior. Like I thought something was wrong with her.
Bipolar?
For example, maybe could be. But it turns out she was doing bits. Like she put googly eyes on all the plants in the house. And then we were like,
Googly
eyes. And we were
that's
like,
fun.
Mom, why do all the plants have eyes on them? And she was like, I just like to know where I stand with the plants. I like to be able to look them in the eye. And we're like, okay, crazy. 10 years later, on YouTube, I saw that's a Christopher Walken SNL sketch.
Googly eyes, yeah.
She was doing the bit from SNL.
Yes, absolutely.
But never in 10 years did she like mention that was.
Yeah.
We just thought she was crazy.
Yeah, right.
But for her, it was hilarious. She's like, I'm gonna do this bit, and these kids are gonna have no idea what I'm doing, and it's gonna confuse the shit out of them.
It's so interesting to see how the comedy, like your mom's comedy, affected you and the comedian. Because I have the same thing with my dad. My dad has very offensive jokes. He does not realize it's offensive, so says it in a dry tone. So yeah, I want to share that. You?
No, I was just saying that sometimes also I realize that it's very tough to, actually it's not good to do this on stage, but it's one of my favorite styles of comedy is doing a joke that nobody gets. And I'm not saying like a joke that bombs.
You tried it. You tried it.
I mean, I
definitely
have tried it, but like doing a joke where it's like exactly the googly eye thing where it's like, I mean, I know that Christopher Walken bit or from SNL, but like something so funny where you just put like a weird, I don't know what an example would be, like put a weird thing on the corner and you just watch people go by and be like, what the fuck is this? It's like a piece of shit that's like with googly eyes, let's say. And you're just watching people go by being like, what the fuck? Why is that there? There's something so, I think it's like kind of like having your own secret. It's like you get to have this secret that no one else knows and you're laughing at it, but no one else is.
It's all my act. It's just no, seriously. It's just when I watch myself, it's just like no one knows about Rana. It's just everyone is looking at this googly eyes.
Right.
But I'm curious about in conversations. You said sometimes you make it awkward, just intuitively, just to do it. to me, that's so funny. Just as like, if you zoom out and there's cameras on us and it's a TV show, and I'm like, okay, now I'm the asshole character, right? What does the asshole character say? The asshole character is like, well, do you know this like really good movie that of course you don't know? That's just pointless.
That's
to
how
do in a conversation.
That's how I survive my awkward conversation. I'm like, this could be a movie.
Yeah.
This could be a scene.
When you look from the outside perspective,
Exactly.
as if you're one of the characters in this movie.
Yeah, I actually also like screenplays and stuff. And do
you want to write a screenplay?
I started writing one last year.
I've started a few.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I loved so much awkward things, and I think it would be hilarious.
What's the idea? You were about to say it and I interrupted you. So
no, it's just because I feel like my life is a movie sometimes. So I would like to have a script, and also like writing, creative writing.
But what's the screenplay idea that you started writing?
I can't say. It's
you can't say?
No,
you're worried someone will steal it?
Well, it's not finished
this
yet.
counts as a copyright.
Mine is the regular, young adults trying to make life make sense.
Yeah, and it's more
stand-up. Yeah.
But she's a vampire.
No, but she's Arab.
An Arab vampire? There's a market for that.
No, we don't have women vampires.
Well, I think that's
all right. That's I have a screenplay idea.
No, we don't want to hear it. Rana.
No.
Bea coming through with the best jokes of the night.
Can I do you a blowjob?
No, all right, that's enough. So, Rana.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, we are too. That you came. Yes,
Thank
very
you.
much so. Thank you very much. Would you want people to follow you on Instagram or anything like that?
Sure, if you're not creepy, please follow me.
Then don't say it. Don't say it. Everyone will be creepy.
Is it at Rana?
At Rana, RANAA.
RANAA.
Can't you put it somewhere, like in the bio?
We'll
or
put
something?
it in the show notes,
then we'll cut
everyone.
that
You can
out.
follow Rana. We'll put the googly eyes bit in the,
That's right. Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
show notes.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a real pleasure, Rana, and we'll see you on the
Yeah.
stage soon. And you might open for me in Poznan and Bydgoszcz.
Yeah,
If you can
sure.
get out of your exams.
Yeah, sure. And it's very nice to be here talking with you. I thought it would be more awkward, but I think it's good.
It's been a long journey to the end of the episode.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Do you have anything to add, Bea?
Bunga bunga.
Okay. Wait, before we go, we have to make sure that everyone knows to follow us at the Comedy Hole and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and of course,
follow them. They're pretty great.
And of course, we're all going to say Bea's favorite catchphrase, which is ciao. So, ciao, everyone.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Hello. Ciao. So guys, follow the Comedy Hall on Facebook, on Instagram. Check out our shows. We will be so happy to talk with you. Also, if you have any suggestion about possible topics for this podcast, reach out. If you want to be part of the podcast, reach out. If you're a comedian and you stop by Warsaw, come and we will have fun together on stage. So, ciao.